Hey everyone, welcome to this three-finger banjo style arrangement of Banksy, Ohio. If you're not familiar with Banksy, Ohio, it's kind of a nice, slow to medium murder ballad that kind of gets a little brutaler as it goes on. It's kind of a surprising tune in that way. I'll link to some videos down below. So this is just a nice, relatively simple three-finger style banjo arrangement of it. Yeah, I'm going to play through the tab, then we'll I'll play through it, then we'll talk a little bit about what's in the tab. We'll go line by line through it, so the tab will be in the video. But if you want a PDF of the tab, or you just want to support me, you'd like to see me do more of this stuff, please check me out on Patreon, because I'd like to do more of this stuff, and I'm finding it harder to fit in my life. But let me play through it, then we'll talk about it as we go, or after that. 1, 2, 1. There she be. So, let's talk a little bit about this tune. First thing I want to mention is it's a really nice tune to practice pickups because it has all these like 2-bar phrases. And only say that you'll be mine in no other's arms entwine. All these little short phrases that have big pickups. And only say, most of them come in on beat 2. 1, and only say. So it's a really good tune to practice that sort of thing. The other thing, actually that's pretty much the main thing I wanted to say about it. Let's throw the chords up. I want to talk a little bit about something here. So normally you'll see the chords as being G, and only say that you'll be mine, then a D chord, and no others, and you have a D7 chord. Now, on a guitar this is a little bit different, but as a banjo player, the voicings that you normally learn for D and D7, this is your D that you learn, and this is your D7, they don't actually work very well like that. So, a couple things. One thing, that D7 is a D7 regardless of what we play, because the singer actually sings the C note there, the note that makes a D7, and no others. So when I sing that note with this D, we're hearing a D7 chord. So I don't need to I don't need to express it. It's still a D7 chord because the vocals are doing it. But the D7 chord should be more tension than the D. That's generally why we go D to D7, or anytime we do a G, G7, C, C7, we're just trying to create more tension. And I find with the voicings here, D chord to a D7 chord, it kind of loses a fair amount of tension. And the reason is because this high F sharp goes down, right? Which sounds to me like a loss in tension. So I would either do D the whole time, only say that you'll be mine in no other's arms and only say that you'll be mine in no others, just a D, or D7 the whole time, and say that you'll be mine, D7 the whole time, in no others. But if I ever really want to do that trick of the D to D7 and keep the tension, I think the best way to do it here, one of the best ways, there's a couple to do it, but we keep that D chord and we just keep the top F sharp and we move these fingers down to a D7. So we get this voicing of a D7, which to me has much, much more tension. And only say that you'll be mine in no other's arms entwine. Right, that's kind of nice. Okay, let's continue with these chords, right? Second half. Down beside, then G7 to a C. Waters flow down the banks, G chord of the D, then G. Right? It's very common also too if you wanted to add a C7 there. G7, C, So, having talked about the chords, let's go through the tablature line by line. So here is the first line, right? I'm going to play through it, then we'll talk about it. Alright, so not too much to say here. I do with these big pickups, forward reverse roll. Thumb alternating here with this F sharp. Sometimes people have it's confusing to get this. I always go to this, I didn't there, but when I hammer on this note, because it's part of a D or a D7 chord, I'm pretty much always getting with my middle finger. And we have this pickup to the C note. That's that D7, that C note that I was talking about singing there, that's it. So the second line here. Okay, so let's talk about that line. We have a forward roll. Now here's the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll. If you want to start it with your index, you can, but I generally start with my middle finger. But what's important here is this note, the third bar, that open B note, that has to be with your index finger because we just used our thumb at the end of that bar. So if you're not familiar with Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, that can be a little bit tough. You could do it as a forward roll. That way you don't have to start a bar with your index finger. But it's a nice time to practice. It's not too tough. It's not so fast. This is the lick, if you've done the lick before. But the only difference here is we're starting on a B note, because that's the melody note. Then we got these double stop pickups to D note, which is very, very common. Okay, a couple things I'll mention here. So hammer on in here. It's nice to do that with your middle finger so you can get this G7. So here I'm holding the G7, so I put my third finger down. A, G. Now I could keep this finger down, but I'm just taking it off to get 0 on that last note because it makes it easier to get the C note with the hammer on here. A, G. Right? So we've done a lot of this stuff before. I'm going to talk a little bit about these two bars of G and G7 because I have the feeling like there's different ways we could do it. If you're used to the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, you might want to do the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll again on that first bar. Or you can actually keep the forward roll just going through the whole thing. Which is kind of cool. So that might be a nice little variations to throw in there. Okay, but let's take a look at the last bar. So last bar is this G, D, G, and I wanted to keep it relatively simple, but have a variation on something I do very often with my students, which is often I'll do this ending of G, D, G. It's probably the simplest ending I can think of, where I do, I slide to B on the G and do a forward reverse roll, and then I make a D7 chord, and that's kind of the end. So I wanted to make it a little bit more complicated than that, so I added a couple notes here. I've got... So that's just a passing note between this B and this A. Now here, instead of hitting that A again, I'm going to go to this F sharp. And so you could hit the A again, but we're going to go da, do, da. Alright, so it's kind of a nice little step up from kind of an easy ending that we do. And that's it there. Yeah, you can do that in any song that just goes G, D, G at the end, right? Okay, so that's my arrangement. I hope you liked it. Last thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play through it at a nice slow tempo with the tablature so you can see my fingers, play through it, yada, yada, yada. But remember, if you want a PDF of this, you'll have to get that on my Patreon. And please consider supporting me in this endeavor that I'm undertaking. Okay, here we go. This is what it sounds like. Tab up. 1, 2, 1. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. Till next time. Bye.